Why would they even want to, A, keep royal titles, and why would they want to remain, in Harry's case, on the line of succession to something he doesn't clearly like?
I genuinely find that question to be preposterous. By not being a working royal does not mean that he should remove himself from the succession. It makes no sense. Look, the issue here is not Harry and Meghan. The problem here are people like you, Piers, and Hugo, who want to punish Harry for marrying a woman you don't like and for having the audacity to determine that his service, his life of service as a royal member will be in a certain way. That doesn't mean he can't be in the succession. Either way, why is it that whenever they do anything, it has to always, by you and others like you always have to throw the works in the spanner. You always have to throw, I don't know, your toys out of a pram, like they're planning to do something negative deliberately. That's not the case.
Why would a couple who've gone so far to remove themselves from an institution want to be still in line to succeed? I don't get it.
They did not remove themselves from the royal family.
They did.
Harry is not in exile. He did not abdicate a throne or abdicate his position. All he did, like many other members of the royal family, we're going to talk about this succession thing. Bear in mind that there are many people who are in direct succession to the throne. Not to even talk about those who are the Queen's collateral line of, descendants. And many of them bear royal titles. Many of them are not working royals, and they have careers. In fact, they financially benefit from their proximity to the throne, indirectly or directly. Are you going to strip them of their succession?
Well, I think it's a good question.
Are you going to strip them of their titles?
Shola?
No. The line of succession is fine, and you should all leave Harry and Meghan alone because they've done nothing wrong.
OK, but here's the thing, Shola. So we'd love to. They just don't want to be left alone.
That was epic. Hello guys, welcome back. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Here, we celebrate Prince Harry and Meghan, so let's dive in, shall we? So here we go again. Another day, another round of performative royal outrage because Prince Harry, yes, the Prince Harry, is still sixth in line to the British throne. And cue the pearl clutching, the weeping into Union Jack tea towels, and the endless moaning from the usual suspects. You know the gang. Hugo Vickers clutching his biographer's notebook like it's holy scripture, and Piers Morgan foaming at the mouth with that same old recycled venom. But you know who wasn't having it? You know who showed up with her facts sharpened, her voice booming, and her courage blazing? Dr. Shola Moshogbamimu, Queen, icon, truth speaker. While the rest of the panel was playing Protect the Monarchy Hypocrisy Edition, Dr. Shola stepped in like a verbal hurricane and schooled every last one of them, and I'm here to amplify every syllable she spit. Let's get one thing straight. Harry and Meghan Sussex didn't abdicate the throne. They didn't overthrow the monarchy. They left a toxic work environment. They said no thanks to the backstabbing, the bullying, and the British tabloid feeding frenzy. And they did it with grace. And still, years later, y'all can't sleep at night because Harry, not even on the throne, mind you, is still legally in the line of succession. Why? Because it exposes exactly what this is really about: control. Now enter Hugo Vickers, brushing off his dusty comparison charts and declaring that Harry should be treated like Edward VIII. You know, the Nazi sympathizer who abdicated the throne to marry Wallis Simpson and ran off into exile. Excuse me? We're comparing that man to Harry, a man who's literally devoted his adult life to veterans, mental health, and humanitarian work, even outside the royal system? Miss me with that nonsense. Vickers whines, but Harry lives in California. And? So what? You're telling me that the postcode of a man's home invalidates his bloodline? Did Harry get a Malibu zip code and suddenly forget he's the son of Princess Diana? Please. If living outside the UK is the issue, then half the royal cousins should be deleted from the books tomorrow. But they won't be, because they're silent, obedient, and most importantly, white. And this is where Dr. Shola clears the table. With her voice calm but her fire unmistakable, she calls the whole debate preposterous, because it is. The idea that a prince born into the Windsor family, who simply chose to protect his wife and kids from a media circus, should now be erased from history? That's not royal tradition. That's revisionist, petty, power-hungry fantasy. Let's be real here. Harry's only crime was marrying Meghan Sussex, a black, successful, intelligent, self-made woman who refused to be silenced, styled, and paraded around like a royal mascot. From that moment on, the system just turned on them. And now, here we are, years later, still debating whether this man should be punished for, honestly, just falling in love and choosing peace. Dr. Shola dragged this entire mess into the daylight. She said what needed to be said, that the attacks on Harry are not about protocol or succession or royal duty. They are punishment. Punishment for daring to disrupt the lily-white image of the monarchy. Punishment for telling the truth to Oprah. Punishment for choosing love over loyalty to a crumbling institution. And let's talk about Piers Morgan, the court jester of bitterness. The man has been, honestly, just screaming into his breakfast cereal ever since Meghan Sussex rejected him, like a decade ago. He keeps harping on about how Harry and Meghan crave attention. Really, Piers? The couple who left the United Kingdom, gave up taxpayer funding, and only speak on their own terms are the attention seekers, not the man who's made Meghan his full-time personality? This is Projection 101, and Dr. Shola didn't come to play. When he accused her of blind adulation, she clapped back so hard his ego might still be vibrating. She called him exactly what he is, a fragile man-baby. And honestly, that's the most generous phrasing I've ever heard. Dr. Shola wasn't just defending Harry and Meghan, she was exposing the entire rigged machine. Because while the media and royalists hyperventilate over Meghan's podcast or Harry's memoir, guess who still sits pretty in the line of succession? Prince Andrew, the man wrapped in scandal, stripped of titles, hiding from subpoenas, yet not one of these succession purists have ever demanded his removal. Ask yourself why. This is the royal double standard in its rawest form. Prince Andrew's crimes are swept under the rug with PR spin, while Harry and Meghan's exit is treated like treason. That's not tradition. That's a cover-up. And let's get into this whole they didn't want the spotlight garbage. Let me tell you something. Choosing to tell your own story is not the same thing as craving press intrusion. Harry and Meghan didn't say they wanted no attention. They said they didn't want to be harassed, lied about, and exploited. But when you're a Windsor, the only acceptable kind of attention is the one the palace controls. Harry and Meghan's interviews, their Archewell Foundation, their Netflix and book deals, all of that is on their terms. And for the monarchy's loyalists, that's the problem. They can't stand the idea that Harry and Meghan are thriving without the crown, without the courtiers, without the system. It exposes how hollow the institution really is. Even the one point of agreement in the debate, that Princess Anne should be higher in the line, proves just how backward the whole system is. Anne has spent her life working, no scandals, no drama. But because she was born a girl, she got leapfrogged by her younger brothers. That's the monarchy's idea of meritocracy. So let's keep it all the way real. Harry didn't abdicate. He escaped. He didn't renounce his heritage. He reclaimed his humanity. And Meghan didn't break the monarchy. She exposed how broken it already was. That's why they're being punished. Not for what they did, but for what they represent. A future the monarchy is too afraid to embrace. Dr. Shola came with facts, receipts, and fire. She reminded the world that the British press and royal defenders don't want justice. They want submission. They don't want accountability. They want obedience. And when they can't get it, they throw tantrums on live TV. So here's a toast to Harry and Meghan for surviving the storm and building their own sunshine, and to Dr. Shola for being the thunderclap that rattled the crown right out of its comfort zone. Let the hypocrites keep talking. Let the Hugo Vickers of the world scribble their outdated fairy tales. Because out here in reality, we see it clearly. Harry and Meghan didn't step down, they stepped up. And no royal line, no bitter anchor, no crumbling biographer can take that away. Let's be loud, let's be bold, and let's keep shining that spotlight right where it belongs, on the truth. Because when history is written properly, not by the tabloids, not by the gatekeepers, not by bitter men with microphones, Harry and Meghan will be remembered as the ones who chose purpose over protocol. And Dr. Shola, she'll be remembered as the voice that refused to let lies go unchallenged. So stay mad, royalists. Stay pressed, Piers. Keep screaming into the void because the world is moving on. And the Sussexes? They're not looking back. They're busy raising kind children, building community, and walking the walk, not hiding behind palace walls hoping for good press. And finally, to every Meghan hater still stuck in that same tired outrage cycle, ask yourself if she really didn't matter. Why are you so obsessed? Because deep down, you know what the rest of us already do. You can't dim the light of people who were born to shine. And baby, the Sussexes are blazing.